Mic check. Headphones. We're ready to go.
So
and welcome back.
On 1, 2. I can't hear my snare. Where's my snare? Can't hear my snare. I'm cleaning.
People said yesterday's episode with Scott Rogalski was one of their favorites. People said you were like brothers from another. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Fast talkers, New Yorkers, passionate. You know what's interesting, Cage? Even though you're a fast talker, you might come off brash. People know you have a huge heart, and that's interesting. I like that's kind of like universally come out of like the feedback from our audience is how kind you are, how generous you are. So welcome back to another episode of Lucas Tigers and Bronzo My. Guys, I have one of your guys' favorite segments today. It's the Would You Rather. People love it.
I don't even know. I'm excited. I would have, if I knew that was coming, I would have been amped up throughout my day. Jeez. It's funny. You started off by telling me that I'm a fast talker. One of my coworkers today called me and said we have this big meeting tomorrow with the team from Chicago. It's our first meeting. So she calls me today and she goes, "Hey, for the meeting in Chicago, can you go a little slower?" And I'm like, "What? What the fuck?" And you kind of just like you know your stuff, and you kind of go really fast, and you can just like you speak your own language kind of sometimes. Like, can you slow it down for the people who aren't from New York? And I'm like, are you telling me you can't keep up with me? Because that's what I'm hearing. That's all I'm hearing. I'm hearing.
Do you think anyone from our audience listens to you on 1.5 speed?
Yes, and I think it's hilarious. It's like Christmas time. It's like
because like I'm a big audiobook guy. I love Bob Proctor, someone I've listened to a lot. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's an older man, so I speed him up. I go like 1.5 for him. But for you, I mean, if I go 1.5 for you, that's like 3x.
Proctor. Anybody?
You know who Bob Proctor is?
No, I know who Proctor was. Proctor was Lieutenant Mauser and Captain Harris's assistant in a certain movie. Not assistant, really. Deputy, maybe? I don't know. Proctor!
Bob Proctor is one of the OGs of the self-help personal development game. He was one of the guys that wrote The Secret.
Ooh, personal development and self-help. Who would you say, besides you, who's the Mount Rushmore of self-help people, right? Is it Tony Robbins? Is it Richard Simmons, Sweating to the Oldies? Is it... let's see. Who else? Who are the self-help gurus? I'm trying to think. Alex Trebek.
You know what's amazing about Cage? Only Cage answers the question that he asks.
Well, I'm making a joke. Alex Trebek clearly is not a self-help. But you didn't jump in with like your Mount Rushmore.
You know what's interesting about self-help and personal development? Like just like 20, 30 years ago, because there was no internet and stuff like that 30 years ago, it was kind of taboo, right? Like no one would go to like the library and like read self-help books. That was very niche. That was very taboo, and it's become mainstream. And now, I mean, there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of people in the personal development self-help space. I always go back to the OGs because I can't trust the new people, right? Like OGs have stood the test of time. So Jim Rome, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, and Earl Nightingale. Wow. Napoleon Hill is another one.
I don't know any of these people. Not a single person you just named. Because to me...
Wayne Dyer and Jim Rome are like my go-to.
My generation, sure. The self-help section was the tissues and Lubriderm. But
that's not help. You're not learning.
That was how you self-helped yourself. No?
I would say like at my lowest, and this is incredible that this is now on the internet. There's this 4-hour seminar by Jim Rome. It's called The Best Day Ever.
Jim Rome, the guy from ESPN? That guy?
No. Jim Rome from ESPN has a better voice. Jim Rome from Personal Development has way better content.
Oh. It's like a ghost scene. I see somebody in the mirror.
That's my best friend, Brove. Everyone knows he's here. Brophy. Yeah, you can see him in the mirror. He's yeah.
Is he making dinner?
He's going to have Taco Tuesday. No, he's making apples and peanut butter. We had a workout here. It's like 3:30. I've been recovering from this workout for like an hour and 45 minutes. I was laying on my floor. Thank God it's tile because it was so hot. It was so hot. It was the hottest. It was probably the hottest day of the year for me, at least. I don't know if you felt that too, bro.
You would have liked it here. It was the sky opened and the rain came down, torrential pouring here for like an hour. I was like, this only Andrew would like this. Andrew would like this. And
was it one of the hottest days, bro, or not?
Yeah, okay, for sure.
It was hot, man.
Sure.
All right, let's do Would You Rather. Ready? You want to start NFL, MLB, or NBA?
Shoot. Go alphabetical order. Go MLB, then NBA, then NFL. Alphabetical order.
Dude, shout out to Messi. He scored his first goal for PSG today, too. They won 2-0.
He's not good, right? I mean, clearly he can't score goals for PSG, so he's got to be terrible.
He scored his first goal. It takes some time to sync with the team. You know what I mean? Like, soccer's an interesting game. Like, it's talent, it's skill, but also the team has to get to know how you play. So, and Messi demands a lot of the ball. So, anyway, alphabetical order. I'll start off right off the bat.
Shoot.
And dude, your Yankees are in a good spot. I told you that the other day. You know, I always like to bet on teams that are hot at the end of the season. Cardinals, Yankees. Who would you invest in? Both these guys are super hot. Harper or Judge? Long term, whose cards would you rather be buying?
Harper.
Wow.
Harper.
Judge is smacking this year.
Doesn't matter. Judge has had these periods where he smacks. Ultimately, I wouldn't really invest in either of them, too much. I like Harper. Just Judge is older. If you put their career numbers next to each other, they're not even close. And Harper should play longer. One, he's younger, and people don't realize that. Like what I just said is probably going to be a shocking statement to everybody out there who doesn't watch baseball all the time. My pal Al.
I thought Judge was younger.
No. Yeah, because he's been in the league less time. Because Harper came up really young and Judge came up late because Judge couldn't hit a curveball. He was Pedro Serrano. I mean, he was just terrible. And then he figured it out, And you could go back and get Harper cards as early as 9 and 10, Bowman, right? And Judge wasn't until I think 13, Bowman. So Judge is older and he hasn't been playing as long. He hasn't been in the league anywhere near as long. He hasn't done anything. Harper is younger, has better career stats, and already won an MVP and might win a second one now. So to me, that's an easy call, even though Judge has the Yankee thing going for him. The problem with that is, and people are gonna take away my Yankee pinstripes after being a Yankee fan for 40 years, but I would not re-sign him to a huge deal. I would not give him.
You think they're going to bring the National Guard in and take all your pinstripes? That's what they do in New York.
That's what they do, right? Yeah, they take away. Forget it. Like I need a pinstripe passport. So yeah. I mean, maybe if he's willing to take a shorter deal or more money for not as long of a deal, like he's older already. He's if you put him in any lengthy contract, the end of that contract is going to be terrible. And they already have dumb money locked up with Stanton, who yes, right now is firing all cylinders. But it's so funny. We're in one of these like, what have you done for me lately worlds? I heard somebody on talk radio this morning say Giancarlo Stanton earned his stripes with that one home run. With these 3 home runs in 3 games against Boston. Meanwhile, you don't realize in the divisional series last year, the dude had like 5 home runs and 10 RBIs, but they lost. So it doesn't matter. You know where you earn your pinstripes? On November 3rd. That's where you earn your pinstripes here. That's where you become a Yankee. So I mean, it's one of those weird things. Harper's already done it. Judge may do it, and I love Judge. He's a huge fan favorite. The whole All Rise. It's an amazing thing that they have. They do in the stadium. People dress up like judges, and they do All Rise when he comes up to bat, and they have like a judge's chambers.
That's kind of cool.
With they wear robes and judges' hats and gavels and stuff. It's a pretty cool thing, right? It's very fan friendly, and I don't think anybody hates him. Even the Red Sox fans that I know, who I'm friendly with, Judge is just always smiling. The whole radio New York shit, that's kind of stupid. But it came back and bit him in the ass anyway. So that was an easy one for me, Harper, just because it checks every box. He's younger, already done it, and better stats. Go for it.
Guys, just so you know, so this segment, this is fun. So this is a fan favorite. I don't do it that often, and we've actually thought about breaking it out to be its own thing. It's like this Would You Rather. It's performance-based, so just to give you context, right? I'm not going to bring up a ton of vintage guys here because, it's hard to compare. But for this, we try to do modern guys that are relevant, and I try to pair these against each other to see kind of how Cage thinks.
Yep.
People love it, and I think our community has loved it a lot. So just to give you context, we always try to keep you guys guessing, but keep it interesting for you. So I hope you enjoy this. I really like this comparison. Bichette or Fernando Tatis?
Wow.
I try to make these hard. I really do, Luca Nation.
I'm going to say Tatis because while I like Bichette, I like them both, right? And they're both very young. I like that Tatis has the ability to be the clear-cut guy there. You know, I know Manny Machado said it's
personality-wise,
it's his team. It could be his league. Like, I don't see it being Bo Bichette's league. Like, Bichette's awesome. Right? The flowy hair and the whole 9 yards, but it's not even his team, really. I mean, it's, Vladdy Guerrero's team. There's a couple of other, Kevin Biggio's, another really good player. Toronto's a very good team. They're a very good lineup up and down. It's funny. If you go back to my baseball preview episode, the one where I famously said Ohtani's not going to hit more than 15 home runs in the second half, and he's got 12 with 1 week to play. Right after that, you asked me what team might surprise in the second half, and I said Toronto. I said, look at the Toronto Blue Jays lineup. Look, they might not make the playoffs, but they're going to make some noise, and take a look at that because they really have. I said George Springer was coming back. They just had a lot of weapons.
You didn't just. I wanted to let people know it's a great example, guys. So you guys hear like the final product, but you don't see all the research that goes in behind the scenes. So those MLB season preview, the NFL season preview, MLB All-Star break, like. Guys, Cage has a job. He has a family. He does put in time to do this research. Like, it's not like anybody. It's not like a headline just like scrolls across the screen. It's like, oh yeah, only 15 home runs after the All-Star break. Like, there's research. There's digging for information. So it's not an accident that a lot of your predictions are spot on.
I would invest in both, but if forced between the two, Tatis has the ability to be the face of the league for a decade. Like he has the ability to be, the Mike Trout that potentially wins. Right, he's got all the tools. He's right now playing an infield position, which is always got more value to a team, always more valuable until they move him. And he's got the speed, power combination, the personality. He's the kind of player that the league can build around. I think Bichette might be also, but I don't see them doing that. And the real difference is, even though San Diego is not the best market, the majors are not really building around a Toronto player. So,
how much do people care about errors in the infield? Matter for card values?
I mean, for card values, not unless he becomes like the worst player with the most errors and becomes like a headline. If he's hurting his team with them, right? If it's like, oh yeah, he hit a home run, but he also had 5 errors that cost the team the game in the 9th inning, and that happens multiple times in a month, that's problematic. But this team won't let him do that. They'll just move him. They'll move him to the outfield if they have to.
You know what's problematic? So, Luca Nation, help me out here. Call to action. So, up until yesterday, I didn't realize vintage clothing was a thing. Scott Rogowski brought it up. He was talking about how thrift vintage shirts.
Dude, check
yes,
out that.
I'm gonna get to yours. Cage's shirt is now faded. Half of the letters cannot be seen. We need to do something with it. I don't want to burn it. I want to auction it off and have somebody out there own that amazing piece of art. So, Luca Nation, let me know.
You don't want this.
Cage has a few of these shirts. He has the Goonies one. He has this Disney World one. He has a few of these. Let's think of something how to get these shirts out of his hands and into some sort of auction for charity or something like that. Because these shirts got to go, Cage.
Basically, what he is saying is he wants to see my boobs. He wants me to do these episodes with no shirt on. And
nobody's saying that.
I mean, that's what he's saying. I mean, he has topless men walking around
fit fan
his apartment all the time.
That was counting down from 300 to like
I see a topless guy in the mirror, and now he wants a topless co-host. There's something weird going on in your brain, pal. I'm leaving my shirt on.
My best buddy is a 4-star athlete, and he's a fucking animal. So, like,
not me. I am an animal.
You actually are an animal.
I am an animal. All right, what's next?
Don't want to paint you a wrong picture. Sometimes girls walk around here too. So like we're equal opportunities employers here. We hang out with everybody. So Ohtani or Trout? I brought these two up for a reason. Same team.
You know,
one's on the up and up. One is out of sight, out of mind. One guy, talent kind of sprung onto the scene. Trout is still undeniably the best player in the league, according to most. Where are you going? Trout or Ohtani?
If you asked me this in the beginning of the year, it would have been the easiest one that you ever asked me in the Would You Rather. I would just want Trout, right? But Ohtani did something this year that was, at least for the better part of the year, that no one's done. Right? Not in 100 years. Where he contributed pitching and hitting to his team at a MVP level. Just an impressive thing. If I had any belief that he could do that for any type of prolonged period of time without getting hurt. Like he's already gotten hurt. I would go Ohtani. But I don't think you're going to see him do this with any type of regularity at all. I think
talk about that, Cage. I think that's a big deal. Sorry to cut you off. Like,
no, go ahead.
The longevity of having to throw a ball 100 miles an hour on your shoulder and then also go up there and a different motion have to swing. I do think there is something to that. Baseball is a very inorganic motion of a sport.
Yeah, and there are pitchers who pitch and have hit. Let me see, Sabathia get hit home run. There are pitchers who hit. Madison Bumgarner.
CC Sabathia was on that Cage lawyer diet for a minute. So, Ohtani, if you need a trainer, forget Tim Grover. Cage lawyer is available.
He looked good, but Ohtani's not just hitting on the days where he's pitching. He's hitting all the time. Like he's actually a hitter and then pitching. And you're right. I mean, it's different strains, and it's strains at a high level. It's different torque. It's different. They're gonna have to rest him. And then they're going to lose his bat, and then so it's just, I'm surprised he's made it through as much of this season as he has. And he's already missed time. It's a much closer conversation than it was coming into the year. Ohtani's done some amazing stuff. But the flip side here is, if the question is who would I invest in right now, I'm going to say Trout, because Trout's been out of sight, out of mind, and his prices have gone down because he's injured, whereas Ohtani cards have all gone up. I mean, that same episode, I said, sell your Ohtani's now. That all-star break, wherever the home run, like that was the peak. You should have sold. Hopefully some of you guys did sell. And he's still high though. I think you might see Ohtani's cards just go down from here on out, or stay the same. I don't think he's somebody I'd want to invest in, because people are baking in stuff that I don't think he can actually ever do. I don't think he can be MVP pitcher and batter for many, many years to come, and that's already baked into his cards.
Soto or Vlad G?
Soto. And it's the body, it's the hitting style. Soto's just a born hitter. Soto's just he's gonna rake, and obviously Vladdy is too. But Vladdy, what happened? He had a lack of success, and he took it personally. And he dieted, and trust me, I have a mind of a fat guy. Andrew calls me fat enough, and I go in the fit family and lose some weight and blah, blah, blah. He'll get there again because I'm eating like Halloween candy a month early. So we'll get there. So it's part of the brain, right? But now he's going to leave this season.
I think I'm pretty supportive as a friend.
You are. You're like a bra. So, it's a lot of fun, right? So he's going to leave the season as one of the top young hitters in baseball. He's going to be feeling.
It's funny when you said bra, I didn't think of a women's bra. I thought of the Lures of Dogtown, and I was like, "What's up, bra?"
Nice, different bra, but you are that kind of bra too, like when the Lures of Dogtown. It's not bra, but I was thinking more of like a man's ear or a bro, like a man bra, a man's ear or a bro. I think that Seinfeld fans are going to enjoy that little reference. So I think Vladdy gets fat again in the offseason. I think they put him on the cover of. I think they put on the cover of a video game. I think he's believing in his clippings, and he thinks, I can do this. I'm just gonna do this, and I don't have to work as hard. I'm not gonna kill myself. Look how great I am. And you're gonna have a regression from Vladdy in the coming year. It's the fat guy cycle, and it's just the story. And his dad wasn't fat, but his dad was not disciplined. Right? He was one of the most. He was one of the most undisciplined 340 hitters I've ever seen in my life. The dude would swing at pitches over his head, but he'd hit him. I'm telling you, watch some Vlad Guerrero. See, Hall of Famer, amazing hitter. Dude would hit like 340, but he would swing like like a cartoon, like Bugs Bunny, where you swing, you corkscrew yourself, and you dig yourself into the ground. He would have those violent type of swings and swing it like everything at his feet, over his head. It didn't make a difference. He never saw a pitch he didn't like. So, all right. Anyway, that's right.
I used this guy, so don't go into Tatis again, but I did Acuña and Tatis.
I still go with Tatis, but this is closer than the Bichette one. I like Acuña, I do, but this year with him out, Freddie Freeman is a star down there, and even Ozzie Albies very quietly has over 30 home runs. Little guy, over 30 home runs. So. The same reason that I like Tatis. I mean, Tatis
does that have anything to do with the park?
A little bit, but it's also those guys are really good, and that's going to be a good team, and that's a part of the reason you bet on them. But the Padres are a good team too. But name-wise, Manny Machado is always going to be the heel. People hate him. right? So the league's never going to build around him, and the fans, unless you are a diehard fan of whatever team he's on, people are not going to like Manny Machado. He's sort of like Roger Clemens in that way. He plays the heel. Jake Cronenworth is not going to be the fan favorite. He's awesome, but he's just not. He's not going to be the face of the league. Tatis is. So that's the only difference. Acuña has a shot every year to go 40-40 if he stays healthy. Every year. And his stuff is a bargain right now. So.
Any more? Real quick, Randy Rosarena or Rafael Devers? I know I'm going down the list, but these two guys are good. These two guys are both really good.
Devers is really good. Devers, as under the radar of a player in that market. I mean, Boston's a big market, but in that kind of a baseball town, you think of like Boston, L.A., New York. Those teams. No one's
Boston likes big personality,
and he's not.
Is that what? Like Big Papi, remember? Like Pedro Martinez.
And Manny Ramirez was a big personality too. But they also have, Nomar Garciaparra was not exactly, he had a celebrity life, but he was not exactly brash. And he was a fan favorite. Jim Rice was a little quiet.
I think of Nomar as a Cub. I don't remember him as a
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, Nomar. I think.
Was he a Cub in 97, 98?
I don't even know. I don't think
because what's funny about that? Why I say that is how like you remember guys by the card you collected, and sometimes it's just the timing of when you collected that card. Like he could have been with the Red Sox his whole career, but I collected his card in '97, and he was with the Cubs that year.
Yeah, Nomar is a big Red Sox, Red Sox guy. He was with the Red Sox for a long time. But yeah, Devers is amazing.
So he was with the Red Sox 96 to 2004. I guess was he with the Cubs after that? Cubs after that. So
maybe towards winding it down.
Yeah.
He was a longtime Red Sox.
So let's go. We're going NFL or NBA now?
Go NBA.
All right, NBA. Who would you rather invest in? I think this is a good place to start. KD or Kawhi?
Woohoo! Right now, Kawhi. Because nobody's looking at his stuff, and his stuff is a little bit undervalued, I think, because he's injured, and he's already done it, and he's done it twice. I know KD has too, but Kawhi's done it like himself, and KD's done it on the back of other people. The flip side to this argument is Kawhi will not be back in the beginning of the season, and KD will be playing, and probably, playing well and scoring a lot of points. So you would think that there's a room for KD stuff to go up this season, especially if he has the success people think he's going to have. But his stuff's already starting to go up. If you're talking about like KD rookie stuff, there are some pretty rare cards for KD's rookie. And, if you could spend your money on like a chrome refractor, that'd be pretty nice. This is a close one. Ultimately, I think Kawhi plays longer, but, you have more of a career. So Kawhi could do something down the road. If Kawhi decides he wants to team up with, people who already won 70 games, over the last couple of years of his career, he can win a couple of championships too. So I go Kawhi. KD is interesting though. I might change my mind, dude. I might change my mind on this. And you talk about performance.
You're allowed.
If it's just performance, because you said performance-based, it's just performance. You know what? I never hear Kawhi's name for anything. Maybe it's because where he's played and where he's playing, maybe because he's injured. But I don't see Kawhi getting into the hobby. I don't see Kawhi investing in any hobby companies, but KD is. Like, KD's name is relevant in people who invest and collect. I think that actually might impact his collectability and valuation going forward. It's not on court performance. You could still say it's part of his overall performance or his overall investability. And if you factor that in, I might swing the pendulum over to KD. Is that valid? Am I cheating there?
No, this is a thought process. It's I think the community here is going to benefit because we say this on our Sunday show, but I'll say it here too. Our goal is not to give you guys plays. It's to give you the thought process behind the plays so that you could go and make your own decisions, Cage. So it's not up to me to decide. It's the community to decide. And here's a good one. I really like this comparison. Jason Tatum or Anthony Edwards?
I'm going to go Edwards. And this is also a close one. And here's why. I think what I've seen out of Tatum already shows me that he's not going to be the man in the league. And Edwards could be. Now, Edwards has a lot of things cutting against him, number one of which is the team. You know, who was the last – I'll ask you, who was the last great player on that team that was somebody who you want to invest in?
I mean, it's obvious. It's Kevin Garnett was the last, like, timber wolf that was respected. Everyone knows it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what made Garnett more collectible was when he left. Because then he went on, you know, he went to Brooklyn and he went to Boston.
1,000%.
And, you know, so that could happen, right? That could happen to someone like Edwards. I think Edwards is just – the ceiling is higher. I think we may have seen the ceiling or close to the ceiling on Tatum already. And I'm not saying that Tatum's bad. Tatum is a top player in the league, right? He really is. And I think he could improve, right? He's young. There are areas in his game where he could improve and he could take a step forward too. I just think Edwards has the ability, the athleticism, the persona, the personality that's there also for the post-game stuff to be just one of those guys that you're talking about, that everybody's talking about. If you were playing on, like, the Lakers, you know, like not where he is, but yeah.
So I paired these, and I did these kind of interestingly because you'd think like typically you'd go Lamelo versus Edwards or Booker versus Tatum. But what I did was I did Edwards, Tatum, and now I want to ask you Booker, Lamelo. Who would you rather invest in?
You know, it's funny, man. I've watched more Hornets games than most. I know you like to use the argument whenever somebody says something that you disagree with on players, you say, well, that's because you don't watch the games, right? And that may be the case for Denver, but only because who the hell watches Denver games? It's kind of BS. Nobody watches Denver games. But I watch Hornets games. I paid extra money so I can watch my man Devontae Graham.
It's a misquote. Fake news, but it's okay.
Whenever I say Michael Porter Jesus and I say he's not as good,
you don't watch him. You don't watch him play.
Because nobody watches
mean you
Denver.
Don't watch it.
Because nobody watches Denver games.
Nope.
But yeah,
nobody does.
So back on point, it's the Hornets. I watched a lot of Hornets games. I got to tell you, I like LaMelo. I don't think he's as good as what people make him out to be. I really don't. I mean, he made some highlight passes. You agree? Good. That's nice. That's a nice breath of fresh air. Little change, right? So I mean, he's awesome. And he won Rookie of the Year, and he came back from his injury, and you know, and he did some amazing things. But another guy, I think you have seen his upside. I really do. I think you've seen his upside. I think you've seen that team's upside. I mean, to have an article, James Borrego, come out, I even though Devontae left, I'm still following them, to say, oh, yeah, they were so great. The leadership of this team is just really going to take them to the next level. You should have seen the workouts that Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier. Get out of here. Who is that scaring? Not even my high school team. Oh, we got Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward coming in. Guys.
Why are you still in high school?
No, I'm talking about when I played in high school.
Oh, gotcha.
So why am I still in high school? All right. So this one, I go Booker because he was close last year. I mean, he was close. It's going to take a long time before LaMelo gets that close, if ever, in his career.
Edwards over Tatum, Booker over Melo. So then I have to ask, Booker or Edwards?
You're talking about like
this is the hard-hitting journalism you guys get.
Who wins the top one there? So it's funny, even though Edwards didn't win the Rookie of the Year last year, I think he's a better player, investability-wise, than LaMelo, if that's the word, like, you know, for an investment.
No, Booker. I'm asking
I know. So, but this is why, you know, because the better one would be Booker LaMelo or Tatum LaMelo. Like you layer all these things, right? So even though I think Edwards beats Tatum, so I like Booker. I do. He had some moments last year, but also the flip side on Booker is he disappeared, right? So you know, I think I had you make one of those things. Remember, I said, "Oh, it's a ghost." Remember, we had a little like Booker's a ghost. Like, where did he go? And there were like 3 games where it was like, where the hell did Denver? If you're going to be the guy on a team, right, you can't just disappear. Like, you got to be able to go out there playoffs, and you're penciled in for a bad game of 22 and 7 and 4. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be penciled in for that. No, maybe not 4. He's probably not getting those rebounds. But you understand, right? Like, there are games where a superstar is not supposed to disappear like that, right? Edwards, from an investment standpoint, I like it. I really do like Edwards. I like that there is some real like low risk, high upside to him. I could be very wrong on Edwards, but if you ask me like, hey, here's $1,000, which one of these guys are you investing in? I think I'm going to go like $700 of it on Edwards and $300 of it on Booker. Is that fair?
I like that. It's 100% fair, and I think a lot of people have the same question. For me, I would go – this is a tough list. This is a very tough list. Edwards has the most upside, but he has more downside than Booker. I'm not going to give you guys my list because I don't know.
Yeah,
that's okay to
good.
say.
It's good.
Zion or Bam? And here's why I put these two against each other. Bam is consistent, guys. I really believe he slept on. To me, he's going to be a 5, 6, 7, maybe 10-time All-Star. He's getting better and better. Maybe I'm crazy with that, but like his game reminds me a lot of Kevin Garnett in the modern age. And then you have Zion, who's a force, but like you're seeing this guy's getting injured. Where are you going with this, Zion or Bam?
Zion. I think
Zion.
I think he'll be back early enough. He might miss a little bit of time. Bam, I think you've seen his ceiling. He might get better, but Bam plays. So Bam looks like a big man. He's not. He's not 7'2". But he just has the game of an athletic big man. And people don't like investing in the big man. Even when the Joker won the MVP, his cards are worth like a third of what they were. You know, they got steamed up and now nobody cares, right? It's the same thing with Bam, you know, to an extent like Siakam. You know, these tall guys that are, you know, centers. People don't really love.
Siakam is a swing man.
I know. But he plays like a Manute Bol.
He plays big.
Yeah, he plays like a you know what I'm talking about, right there. These are not like, you know, they're not tiny guys who are outside taking a million threes. You know what I mean? Like Devin Booker. You know, the traditional like this guy's gonna score 70 tonight, so I'm gonna invest.
I think it's actually a good point. I know what Cage is saying. They get a lot of their points in the paint, and they have to fight and claw for their points. Where like Jason Tatum's out there crossing people up, 3.
Yeah.
1,000%. Bam doesn't even shoot the 3.
The post is not as memeable. It's cool, but it's not as memeable. You know that it's not. You can't cut it
unless you're Zion and you dunk on people in the post, and then that's memeable.
So it's funny. Here's the problem with Zion, right? I mean, he's got the chance to. I would put Zion for investment purposes, like Patrick Bet-David, over anybody, just because he has a chance to be LeBron type. Not the game, not the player, but just what it means to this generation. He could be the generation's LeBron. He could be that name. He could be that guy on the cereal. When they do Space Jam 3, it could be Zion acting poorly. That's what Zion potentially brings. He's that one name. He's Cher, Zion. You know, like everybody knows LeBron, Zion. So now,
on the opposite side of that narrative, and I've been
but could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? I don't know, but the upside is clearly there. Here's the negative on the Zion, right? So we talk about KD. KD did a press conference. I think today might be KD's birthday.
It is.
He did a press conference yesterday, and a news reporter, Dave, from the Sporting whatever it is, gets up there and says, "Hey, how come they call you KD?" And he's like, "Because my first name is Kevin and my last name is Durant." And he's like, "All right, well, when you go out there this year, you're going to give like 50%, 80%, 100, 110%?" And he's like, "I'm going to give 110%. He goes, "Oh, well, how about this? My last question. When you play a team like the Pelicans, like, you don't take that seriously, right? You're kind of like giggling when you play the Pelicans." And, you know, KD is dying laughing. And he didn't realize it was David Letterman asking him the questions. And it was really funny. But,
I saw that quote.
But think about it for a second. He's shitting on the Pelicans. I mean, like, you know, that's like, "Oh, look, the Pelican. It's, anybody tell me what movie that is? Give me a little, look at the Pelican. If you tell me what that is in the DMs, I'll hook you up with something." So, Zion, is that Pelicans team really going to do anything? I mean, now they have future Hall of Famer Devontae Graham. So they are clearly better than they were.
Who would you rather invest in, Devontae or Tyler Hero? That's on my list too.
Ooh, that's a good one.
My guy versus your guy.
That's a good one, Tyler Hero, because you can fix it. You can fix a haircut.
You can't fix 6'1" and unathletic.
You can't fix small. You can't fix
Lonzo or Michael Porter Jr. Just for brevity, because we're 34 minutes in. And
MPJ. I am not a Lonzo
trying to win that
at all. No, I can't. I don't think MPJ is Kevin Durant, but I think Lonzo is like a good college player. You know, like I mean, I'm not a Lonzo buyer at all. That ugly shot that he jacks up. No, MPJ. Yeah, that this whole thing he does there.
It's gotten better. It has gotten better.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's copyable. Ian will shoot hoops and he'll go out there, Lonzo, and he'll do this weird thing, and I'm like, don't, no. Just be.
So I'm gonna just in respect for time. So I'm gonna cut a few of these short. We'll get to it again, but I gotta ask you this one because I have a theory, and people aren't gonna like it. I think Jokic is actually a better Luka.
Okay.
Do you agree with this?
No, he's a fatter Luka.
So think about this. Everything Luka does, Jokic does, except Jokic is 6-7 inches taller.
That's not true.
Okay, I understand. We could have the discussion, Cage.
Yeah, he doesn't have the outside. He doesn't have the outside game that Luka does, which is huge in the NBA now. He can't.
Luka's not a great 3-point shooter.
But Luka can take somebody off the dribble and create a shot in traffic outside when a 3-pointer is needed to win the game. You've seen him do it. You're not running a play at the end of the game for Jokic past the 3 for him to create his own shot and take that game. At the same time,
you know that Dirk Nowitzki game winners, like those fadeaway 1-foot shots?
Yeah.
Luka, yes, he does that, but Jokic does that, and he's taller, and he's made those game winners more consistently. So
not the same type. But, yeah, I know what you're saying. Luka's got, for today's game, the outside outweighs the inside. Jokic has him completely beat on the inside game.
Who's a better passer?
Interior passer, Jokic. I would say Jokic's probably a better passer, but not by much.
Rebounding?
Jokic, definitely Jokic, but he's supposed to. He's 11 feet tall. But for today's day,
defense,
you got to be hitting. You got to be shooting threes.
Defense,
interior defense. I mean, it's different, right? I mean, Luka's not a great defender at all. Jokic is a good defender inside, where you don't really have to defend too many people because there's not that many people for him to defend inside. You're not putting him out on the line to defend a guard.
I'm just tell me. So Luka Nation, tell me Andrew's crazy to say that Jokic is actually a better player than Luka right now.
I wouldn't say you're crazy, and I think you can make an argument that if you're a GM and you're drafting a team this season, and you have one pick and you can only pick one of those two guys, I don't think you'd be laughed out of the room if you took Jokic. Not at all. Not at all. From a hobby perspective, they'll laugh you out of the room.
At the same time, how much difference is in this Mavs versus the Nuggets team? And I would say the Nuggets team has drastically better talent than the Mavs, so that you also have to weigh that. So I'm interested. Last one, LeBron or Giannis?
Right now, investing in them?
Yes.
Woo! Sheesh! Let's see. I am going to go with prices where they are right now. I'm going to go with Giannis. If I had $1,000 to invest and you told me I had to invest in one or the two of them, I'm going to go with Giannis. And this is a tight one because LeBron has almost no downside. His cards have run up a little. They've gone up a little bit from where they were, but they're not going down. Giannis's cards, very little downside, but more than LeBron. I mean, what LeBron's already done, amazing. Giannis is close. Giannis has the championship now. He's got all the personal accolades. I think the difference is that while people are working into Giannis's cards, maybe another ring or maybe another MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, I think given the makeup of the league, he has a shot to win multiple times. And I've been doing this whole, like, would you rather based on complete upside, upside from here, like possible ceiling. I think you already know what LeBron's ceiling is. I think his ceiling's already baked in, just like his floor is. And LeBron's just going to be one of these. I think you have a shot, especially given Giannis' stuff was already up here, and now it's here. You have a shot for, if Giannis repeats, or Giannis wins an MVP, and goes to the finals, whatever it is, and has a good showing there, the cards will start making their way back up on the Giannis' stuff. So I'm going to go Giannis. And we have to change the name of our podcast. Because you think Jokic is better, and I went Giannis. It's got to be Jokers and Giannis's and Tigers or something. We got to change it.
Tiger, Joker, the Lion. So, I mean, I've shit on LeBron. I mean, I'm an equal opportunity guy with that kind of stuff. I call it how I see it. I'm a Dak believer, and here's why. So
Dak?
Yeah, I'm a Dak believer.
Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott.
No. Dude, all last year it was the Dak, and now you tell me that he sucked.
All last year he got hurt. He got hurt.
I said Cowboys would still be okay. Like, I'm like, okay, go ahead, please. Let's talk about
Cage is the definition of that emoji smiley face with the brain flying out of the head. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't think he's smiling though. His head's exploded. But I know what you mean. Like
Well, I don't. Okay, you're right. So that's.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like. You gotta love a guy who has his mindset and mentality. So my question is, like, he's handled a lot of adversity and he's done it with a smile on his face and he's risen above, and it's hard not to root for someone like that. Even as someone who's an Eagles fan. Dak or Herbert cards?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Herbert. And I think Herbert's cards are overvalued. Anybody who listens to the show knows that I've been all over Herbert.
He's muted himself. So
this is really close though. It's very.
You guys didn't see it, but I could read his lips. He said, "Ma, the meatloaf.
The meatloaf.
I'm hungry."
No, I told Leah to come turn a light on for me.
Oh, Leah, the meatloaf.
Which is why you got light. You know, I mean, it's getting dark here, so I don't want to be in darkness, and I don't want to get up and run over and turn the light on. So I have Leah turn the light on. So
you mean walk over? You don't run. You made that abundantly clear.
I mean, I would run. Like if I raced you, I would run because I wouldn't want to lose. I think I would have to beat you in a race. So I would run if we were racing because I'd want Luca Nation to see that and never let you live it down. So here we go. The only thing Dak really has going for him here is they are going to walk away with that division. I said they were going to win it last year, right? And then he got hurt. It would have been close. They're gonna win that division. They're gonna have it locked up week 10. It's not even going to be close. And that will help his cards. He'll playoff team. He's going to have a good, early, maybe a bye, or a home game in the first round. And that's helpful, right? Whereas Herbert, that's a tough division. But it brings me into what my quote-unquote play was today. And I'm piggybacking on your don't make a play, let's teach everybody how to fish instead of bringing fish in. Look at the AFC West. If you're a gambler, fade the Raiders and fade the Broncos. Sell your Drew Locks. Sell your Derek Carrs. Sell your Teddy Bridgewaters. I know I'm trying to be funny, dude. This is what I do, right? Sell your Jay Schraders and your Rich Gannons. Sell them all. Sell your Jim Plunkett. Sell your Raiders. Sell your Broncos. Here's why, right?
What about Von Miller? Guy's on a tear, just sacking everybody.
I like Von Miller, but nobody collects defensive players. So 3-0.
They should.
3-0. 3-0. Do you know the strength of schedule? You do PER and you say, hey, Cage, he's a lovable idiot, but he does a little research. The strength of schedule for that division, right? The Chargers, strength of schedule number 2. They play the second hardest schedule so far. It's only 3 games. But the Raiders and the Broncos have the 28th and the 30th strength of schedule. They've played the easiest schedules in the NFL. And the Raiders are 3-0. They've won every game by 9 points or less. 2 of them, they had to go to overtime. That's a team that can be 0-3. Easily 1-2, right? So while you're like, the Chargers and part of my Herbert, non-Herbert love, and I have one Herbert card, by the way, guys, one, right? I think there's a picture of it in my Instagram. You can go take a look at it, right? I have one Herbert card, and I'm not pumping up Herbert. I wish I had more.
Herbert's already been pumped, Cage.
Yeah, I know. I think he's gonna be. I think
actually Herbert's growth is organic. I'm not sure if it's been pumped, so don't quote me on that. Go ahead.
He's been pumped, but he looks the part. He just does. He looks the part. He doesn't look frazzled, and he's got 2 huge wide receivers out there. He's got Keenan Allen, who I think looks just like Sasha Tomadon, and we are definitely gonna make content about that. And he's got Mike Williams. He's got these huge, awesome wide receivers to throw to. And he doesn't throw a perfect ball, but he doesn't have to, right? And he's got a pass-catching Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey light coming out of the backfield.
He doesn't throw a perfect ball. I don't know who does, Cage. He throws. He's very accurate.
A lot of times I see him wrong shoulder in the back, but Mike Williams makes great catches. Keenan Allen.
Mike Williams on my fantasy team. What a draft, huh? I think did I pick him up?
that poor guy, I don't know if he stays healthy. He gets hurt a lot, and Herbert is not really helping him. He has to go up for a lot of balls. Herbert leads him into a lot of contact. I saw a couple throws where Herbert threw behind, and and Allen had to turn his head around to catch the ball, and boom, the defender is cracking him in the ribs, and you see Allen get up and slam the ball down. Like, you can't lead me into a tackle like that. Like, there's still a lot of growing pains going on there where he's got to learn where to put the ball so give the receiver a chance to make a play to avoid some of the contact. But he just looks the part. Herbert looks the only thing that Herbert doesn't have going for him that Dak does is that Herbert's never lost momentum once. Dak clearly has. Right? Dak was successful, got injured, the team kind of blew last year, and his cards were down a little bit because of it. And then now they're on the back upswing because of some success. Herbert's cards have done nothing but rise. Right? So there will be a time where he goes 0-2, he'll lose two games in a row. He might go on a 3-game slide and the cards will come down, and it'll be, wow, can they go back up? That might be the time to get into Herbert when there's finally some downward pressure on it. I like Herbert. I've panned him, and one of the things that I'm looking to do better, whether it's Michael Porter Jr. on my collectible play, up like 40% today, not financial advice, but whether it's LeBron, who I think is probably pretty good, or whoever it may be, you got to be able to change your mind. And I said Herbert was overpriced. He looks good. He looks like he could be one of the real deals going forward. So I go Herbert there.
My play today is Mr. Dak Prescott, and it's very simple. People love a story. America loves a story. The Cowboys are apparently America's team, and they want to see them do well. I 100% expect them to be the winners of that division. I expect their playoff game to be at home, which makes it that much more exciting. I think he's going to have an incredible season. They're clicking on all cylinders. It's obvious if you watch that offense. And I don't think this defense, the Philly defense, was that bad, honestly. If you watched the Philly defense the first few games, that was a decent defense that they gashed. Elliott's back, but Elliott's not going to get any credit because no one really cares about running backs. I think Dak Prescott is a very good investment for this year. And his cards, his Prism Silver PSA 10, and that's the only – I think there's only Prism Silver in 2016, right, Cage?
Yep.
So it was as high as –
No, I think that's Mahomes' year, 17, right?
So 2016, there is Dak Prescott base?
Hold on, we'll take a look. Because I give Dak as a – you got it? I gave Dak Prism as a play last year before he got hurt. I think it was like a week before.
Right. There's only the silver page, so there's no base. There's no base. Which I think is kind of cool if you really think about it. That's important. That goes back to your one rookie card theory. Like, when people look at it, they don't go base or silver. There's no base. So it's about $900 now. I think it's worth a look. It hasn't actually run up as much as people would expect it to. And I would take a look at this card and see if this is someone, if you want to get into the NFL market during the season, right? Because most of the run up is before the season. I think this guy is someone who could overperform expectations, national TV, the whole story, all of that stuff. I don't know if a lot of people know this. His brother committed suicide right before his injury. So, like, there's a lot of this overcoming that I think we all collectively love and respect. And I think that all plays into the narrative, especially when he is on the big stage. So that's my angle. That's my strategy.
Can I get a little I told you so here? I told you so. That if you invest in Hurts, you're gonna get Hurts. I'm just saying. That.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man. You know what's cool? Like, there's this one play where Hurts is a running quarterback, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's mobile.
I mean, the linebackers could catch up with him, and that's not to say he's unathletic. It just shows how athletic everybody in the NFL is.
Correct, and Trevor Lawrence is learning that. Like I said, coming into week 1, that he's facing better talent than he's ever faced, even though he was facing the worst team in the league, right? And our friend Fields is learning that over in Chicago now.
Well, Fields is crippled by a retard at coach. No, I mean, what do you mean? That's not a bad word. He actually is a stupid coach. He's terrible. Him and Adam Gase are literally going to go down in history as the worst coaches ever. Not just by team performance. They just look like they don't know what they're doing. It's something they don't.
Okay. No, dude, your point is correct, and it's this. Those guys who got by on athleticism before getting to this level, they can't get by on just athleticism now because everybody is athletic. They have to learn. They have to learn the defense. They have to study. They have to get in the film room. They can't just rest on athleticism. Even Lamar Jackson has to throw every now and again and make NFL throws, and that's probably why he's not as good as he probably should be. But yeah, you're right. With all of the mobile quarterbacks, the ones who can stay in the pocket when they need to, scramble and make plays, but still look to throw first. Kyler Murray is becoming that. Russell Wilson was that. Patrick Mahomes, mobile, but still looking to throw. That's the key. Even Josh Allen, mobile, but going to throw. You know what I mean?
Josh Allen has, I know Kaepernick's an interesting one. They have two forms of athleticism, right? Not only being fast, like Jalen Hurts, he's average speed, above average, but also being tall. Jalen Hurts isn't tall, right? So, Cap could see over the offensive line. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal to see where you could go with the ball. It's tough when there's a lot of times where it looked like Hurts didn't know where to go with the ball and how to make that right pass. But are you a believer or are you not in him?
In Hurts?
Yeah.
If you invest in Hurts, you're going to get Hurts.
All right, Luca Nation. That's another episode. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, I didn't tell Cage this.
Ooh, surprises.
I'm going to bring – so this is – guys, you need to understand it's basically a full-time job running the show. And we really do care about what you guys say and think, and we want to bring you guys good content. So I'm going to bring back the 10 for 10. But I'm going to do it in an interesting way. I'm going to do 10 for 10. I'm going to call it for hobbyists, true collectors, right? We've had content creators. We had business owners. It's a little bit harder right now to say, what is a true collector? The one standard or metric I said was they have to have been in the hobby for more than 5 years.
Okay.
But I do want to do a hobbyist version of 10 for 10, true collectors. I already have one guy on, Cage. His name is The Captain. He's a huge Tom Brady card collector.
Derek Jeter's coming on the show.
How would you define a hobbyist? If I was to do 10 for 10 hobbyist show? I
mean, if you're just going to pull on someone, it's got to be somebody who does not talk about NFTs. It's got to be. Oh wait, I didn't say it. Did I say that out loud? No. So I mean, a hobbyist. Yeah, I mean, longevity in the hobby. Somebody who's been here for a little while and been doing it for a little while. Sure. I don't know, man. That's a very difficult thing to define because there are people who've been in it for 6 months and have just become totally immersed in this. And it is they built the content. Think of some of the content creators out there, but you don't want to do content. And you don't want to do people who
We've done content. We've done creators. We've done business people. Well, I'll tell you why I wanted to do hobbyists like this is because they've seen ebbs and flows and cycles, and maybe they could share with our audience how they navigate and how they think about those. That's where I want to go with it.
That's cool. Listen, people who are collectors are good because if they've been through it for a little while and they're still here, that is going to most likely present some optimism and something for our audience to hear that, every once in a while we get a message like Patrick Mahomes PSA 9, which was $30,000, is now $10,000. This is bad for the hobby. This is bad for the hobby. The hobby's crashing. People send us this stuff, right? And you know what? It's a valid point, right? Because there are people who overreact. And if you listen to our collectible episode, fractional episode on Sunday, you would have heard me talk about Michael Porter Jr. and that'd be huge. But you also talk about the overreactions. And we said there's an opportunity now in Mahomes, right? People are overreacting. I love what you're going to try to do here because it's going to bring some comfort to folks who are here, who are new, who have been with us for a year and change and have been with the hobby for a year and change and been with the hobby for 2 years to hear, guys, it ebbs and flows. There's not going to be this straight up, but the hobby's here. It stands the test of time. I've seen this, and this. So I think it's a great idea. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's not financial advice. Yeah, that's a nice little upward tick right there. Yeah, that was down 30. It was down 35% since the IPO and down 10% last week over week, and now it had a nice little bounce.
So, guys, not invested in this card at all. Just trying to bring you guys plays that we believe are undervalued. I mean, it would be hard to say you didn't hit the nail on the head with that one, and that's impressive. I mean, it's you hit the nail on the head, and also I wonder how much like this announcement that he got a max contract, all that stuff, but you were spot on with Michael Porter Jr. and it's admirable because you're not even a big fan of his.
Not at all.
Luca Nation, DM us if there's anyone that you think fits that hobbyist bill. I want to do a 10 for 10 hobbyist edition. True collectors, people have been in the industry for 5 years, but help me understand, like, how do you clarify what a hobbyist is? Send us a DM, say this would be good, this person would be good, this team of people would be good, and we'll have them on.
Perfect. Thanks, Luca.